Fredbear's Family Diner was opened sometime before 1983 by Henry Emily and his business partner William Afton. Henry was also the one who created the restaurant's animatronics and mascots Fredbear and Spring Bonnie, both with a spring-loaded mechanism that allowed them to switch between an employee wearable suit and independent functional animatronics, this to avoid breaking any immersion with customers. Fredbear's was apparently well received, as it was a popular birthday venue for children and the animatronic characters were popular enough to have their own line of products and even their own television show called Fredbear and Friends. One day, a little boy named Evan Afton, who was deeply scared of animatronics, celebrated his birthday there. His older brother, Michael Afton, and his friends, aware of his fear, began to play a prank on him with the animatronic Fredbear, putting his head in his mouth. As the teens laugh at Evan's efforts to try and get out, a sickening crunch is heard as the animatronic bites down, causing the teens to stop laughing and stare in shock at the unconscious Evan. This incident was called the Bite of '83. It is strongly implied that due to this incident, the restaurant lost popularity to the point of being forced to close. In 1983, Henry Emily along with William Afton opened a new restaurant probably after the closure of Fredbear's Family Diner, its well-known animatronic entertainers being the first iterations of Freddy Fazbear, Bonnie, Chica, Foxy and two spring-lock suits Spring Bonnie and Fredbear. According to Telephone Guy's training tapes, the spring-lock suits, despite being known to be quite defective and dangerous, continued to be used until an incident occurred consisting of multiple simultaneous failures of the suits at an on-sister location identified, which caused the company to consider them unsafe and cancel them. Another incident occurred on June 26, 1985, in which Tari used Spring Bonnie in suit mode to lure 2 and eventually 5 children to the back of the pizzeria to murder them. Although she was caught, neither the children nor their bodies were found, so due to lack of evidence she was let go. Years later, Fazbear Entertainment decided to reopen the restaurant, using a new range of animatronics whose group consisted of Toy Freddy, Toy Bonnie, Toy Chica, Mangle, Balloon Boy and Puppet. While the animatronics from the old facility were used as spare parts for the new robots, for a few weeks, everything was going well at the restaurant. Fazbear Entertainment spends enormous amounts of money to equip them with advanced mobility, sound interaction, and a facial recognition system linked to a criminal database. All this not only to entertain the public, but also to protect children from predators is the restaurant's top priority. After a few weeks, a terrible incident occurred at the restaurant that was not really reported. The police took custody of the facility for a few days. At the same time, the toy animatronics began to act aggressively towards the staff, adults in general, as they acted completely fine with children, but when they encounter an adult they looked at each other in a chilling way. Then the restaurant was closed for a while and celebrated a birthday on its last day. The toy animatronics were dismantled shortly after that birthday for no confirmed reason. Later, an advertisement is revealed in the newspaper where they plan to reopen the pizzeria very soon with less of the company's budget and promising that they would reuse the old animatronics. After an unconfirmed amount of time, Fazbear Entertainment obtains a relatively small premises to use as a restaurant. The few remaining assets were used to repair and upgrade the old animatronics to versions more suitable and safe for the public. In this way, the restaurant reopens and remains standing once again for an unknown amount of time. The only attractions were the animatronics Freddy Fazbear, Bonnie, Chica and Foxy, but the latter is out of service for not having finished. These robots would no longer be allowed to walk during the day as a precaution, with nighttime being the only time the robots can walk freely. The restaurant is announced to close at the end of the year. Complaints to the Department of Health about blood and mucus dripping from the suits, as well as a horrible smell compared to reanimated corpses, are supposedly the cause. Additionally, business had been bad and management could not find a buyer for the pizzeria as no one wanted to be associated with the name, giving them no choice but to close the place. Due to the incidents, the restaurant was unable to earn a substantial amount of revenue. This resulted in the implementation of a nightly energy budget. It is also for these reasons that the establishment was forced to close at the end of the year. Freddy Fazbear's Pizza finally closed its doors. The building was completely abandoned along with the animatronics inside, and the doors and other entrances had been blocked with wooden boards. And Tari managed to access the restaurant and even managed to open the safe room of that establishment. Finally, she managed to dismantle all the animatronics present in the restaurant, using that room as protection, since the animatronics did not have said room installed on their internal map. But that destruction of the animatronics freed the souls of the children who chased their killer to the same room, where she tried to hide and spring Bonnie's old suit, which turned out to kill her due to how old and rusty the spring locks were. Tari rotted in that room for 30 full years, until Henry, Emily and William Afton along with an unknown group decided to open a horror attraction based on the macabre events that occurred at the pizzeria. This establishment was named Fazbear's Fright, the horror attraction. So the pizzeria is reopened in search of objects or items that may have survived abandonment. 30 years after Freddy Fazbear's Pizza closed its doors, Henry, Emily and William Afton with an unknown group decided to profit from the franchise's reputation by creating a horror attraction based on the restaurant. After much research, parts of old restaurants were discovered and stored, ranging from plastic plate dolls, an old foxy head and some costumes. But the biggest discovery came when a complete animatronic, Springtrap, was found. The attraction was made to act as a haunted house, in which customers enter through the north door and exit through the south, passing right in front of the security guard's office. The character the player controls was hired exactly 1 week before the attraction opened. However, suspicious things started happening, from hallucinations due to the faulty ventilation system, to Springtrap acting suspiciously and trying to attack the player. The attraction never opened, having caught fire 6 days after the player started his turn. Very few things survived the fire, and they were soon auctioned off.